بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على سيدنا ونبينا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. اللهم تقبل منا وتب علينا يا أرحم الراحمين. اللهم أعنا على ذكرك وشكرك وحسن عبادتك، ولا تجعلنا يا مولانا من الغافلين عن ذكرك ولا عن طاعتك. وتب علينا واغفر لنا وارحمنا وتقبل منا يا أكرم الأكرمين. Do anybody has any question about the Zakat to start with? We spoke about the Zakat for last time, and we have made the condition for the Salah, the Zakat, and also we said who is eligible for the Zakat. The one who is eligible for the Zakat are the channels that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala had prescribed in Surah At-Tawbah. And those are the channels. Now, question I was asked yesterday, can I give the Zakah to the non-Muslim? The answer is no. The Zakah is only for the Muslim. What's the proof of that? Is because the Prophet ﷺ said, تُؤْخَذُ مِنْ أَغْنِيَائِهِمْ أَغْنِيَاءِ الْمُسْلِمِينَ وَتُرَدُّ عَلَى فُقَرَائِهِمْ أي فُقَرَاء الْمُسْلِمِينَ. But if the government, the Islamic government, from Baytul Mal, and Baytul Mal could contain sadaqat beside the zakat. Baytul Mal, for the Muslim Ummah, contain two things. Contain the zakat that the government, the Islamic government, collects, and the Prophet ﷺ used to send what they call jubat. He sent them to the different tribes to collect the zakah. So this zakah comes where? Comes to the Baytul Mal. Also, if somebody want to make sadaqat, alms they call it, or gift or whatever, they take it and they give it to Baytul Mal. Now, the government or the responsible people in the government, they may choose to give some of the non-Muslims part of the money. They make sure that they give them that money from as-sadaqat. As-zakah is strictly for the Muslims. Some of the scholars said there is one door open, it's called wa fi sabilillah. That's a kind of a wide open door, anything that will serve the Muslim Ummah, school, hospitals, streets, whatever, they can use it from Baytul Mal, they can use it from as-sadaqat, from Baytul Mal. This is provided they have put condition that we should start, before we can give the money away or distribute the money, we have to stick with the way that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala have categorized it. إِنَّمَا الصَّدَقَاتُ لِلْفُقَرَاءِ وَالْمَسَاكِينَ and so on. So we have to start with this. We're not going to build a school and we have somebody who is hungry, cannot find food to eat, or they are cold, they cannot have clothes to wear. That cannot be. So anyway, so those are the channels. This is how it's going to be. Also, many people are asking, the most frequent question I'm getting about the zakah, some people said, I don't have a set way to know what my zakah is. I get money in Muharram. Now, because we're going to go with the Hijri years, so we're going to go with the Hijri month. Somebody says, I'm going to get money in Muharram. Somebody get money in Safar, Rabi' Awwal, Rabi' Thani, Jamada Ula, Jamada Thani, Rajab, Sha'ban, Ramadan, and so on. I don't have a way to know, the money that I get in Muharram, the zakah does not due on it until next Muharram, yarhamukillah. You see? So I cannot calculate that. In Safar, I receive money that the zakah is not due on it until next Safar. So what do? This is the most frequent question I get. The scholar answered this by saying, okay, since you cannot calculate your zakah every month, what you do is you specify one day in a year. Most people specify the month of Ramadan, okay? Because in the month of Ramadan, the hasanat and the good deed will be multiplied, inshallah. So, they say, for example, 15th of Ramadan, 25th of Ramadan, 27th of Ramadan, whatever number they want to choose, they choose that particular day. What they do in that particular day, they calculate how much money totally they got. Some of this money, may not zakah due on it until next month or the month after. But that's it, khalas. We're going to make a system. So, in the 20th of Ramadan, I'm going to calculate all the wealth that I have and make 2.5% on it. I'm done. Then I don't have to worry about Safar, Rabi', whatever, and this and that. Then next Ramadan, I will do the same thing. So whatever money comes in and comes out, it's okay. I have a certain date. Somebody came to me and he said, well, ya akhi, before Ramadan and Rajab, I have substantial amount of money. I sold the house, I sold something, whatever. And I have $60,000, $70,000, $100,000. You want me to spend zakah on it on Ramadan? Akhi, if you have substantial amount of money, you know what time it comes. You don't want to pay it on Ramadan, that specified amount of money, you could postpone it until, because see, the condition for the zakah is, first, balagat al-nisab, it had reached a certain amount that is specified by the Sharia. And also, the specified amount, the scholar said is either $800 or $1,000. I don't know which one, they agreed on. But some people said $800, some people said $1,000. So let's say $1,000. If you have $1,000, that means you have to make zakah on it. Somebody asked another question. He said, about if I have $1,500, do I make zakah only on 500? The 1,000 is exempt? No. You make zakah on the whole thing. The whole point of nisab, less than that nisab, you're not required to pay zakah. Above that particular nisab, then you have to pay zakah on all of it. Okay, so if you have that substantial amount of money, you know when it came, and you decided not to make zakah on it in Ramadan, it's up to you. But what you do is, you want to make sure that when it comes to you, after one Hijri year, hala alayha al-hawl, and then you make the zakah for it. Okay. Those are some of the questions I got. Of course, there are some other questions that, they come, and I answer them. But if anybody has a question, ask the question. Yeah.
Okay, it's a question about zakat on gold. Do you pay on the amount you paid for the gold when you bought it?
No.
The present rate of the gold?
Which gold are we talking about? Are we talking about the gold that is supposed that you worry that jewelry?
Yeah.
Don't say gold, say jewelry.
Jewelry.
We said last time that for the jewelry, okay, some people send me, I don't know if it's a coincidence or it is, or it is on purpose. After the last lecture, somebody sent me a letter, not a letter, on WhatsApp. They sent me a lecture was made by one of the ulama in Saudi Arabia. That they're saying is that I made a mistake. Now here I'm going to tell you what they said and what the mistake that they claim I made. They said the mistake I made, that first of all, the jewelry for women, it is not subject to zakah. That's one. Point number two, that the wording of zakah that came in the hadith, like the Prophet ﷺ, a lady came to him, this is the hadith, a lady came to him with her daughter, and she was asking the Prophet ﷺ a question. The daughter had in his hand two thick bracelets of gold. Okay? So the Prophet ﷺ turned to her and he said, أَتُخْرِجِينَ زَكَاتَهُمَا? Then he said, مِسْكَتَانِ مِن نَار. That means if you do not make zakah on those two thick bracelet, they call them miskatan. That means they're so thick, that bracelet. That means there will be on the judgment day two bracelets of fire. Okay? This hadith is authentic. They said, another thing, the zakah that the Prophet ﷺ meant in this hadith is to make i'ara. He said, zakatul huli, the zakah for the jewelry for the woman, the zakah of it is for you to let your sister borrow it. So if you let your sister borrow it, and your friend borrow it, and your mother borrow it, and your daughter borrow it, and so if you see, this is what they call it. This will be the zakah. It is not a monetary money that is calculated by 2.5%. So that's where I made a mistake when I said that the huli, the jewelry, must pay zakah on it if it had reached the nisab 2.5%. Okay? Now, I received this video and I sent the letter back and I said, I am sorry, with all respect to all our scholar and mashayikh, I disagree. I disagree because there is usul, qawa'id, usul in the fiqh. And I'm going to share with you one of them today to shed the light on this. We have rules to understand the text of the Prophet ﷺ. Those rules are, one of them is, whenever the text comes, the wording of the text must be interpreted according to the general meaning of the Sharia. I mean, there is a great or an understanding that we all agree on, okay? And there is a subsequent or minor understanding of a particular wording. Like, for example, will be a good example, inshallah. If I asked you, have you made your salah? The salah, it has two meanings. One major meaning, the salah is Allahu Akbar, we make ruku' and sujood. That's the major meaning. Have you made your salah? Made salah, tahiyyat masjid, salatul dhuhr, salat, this is what it means. The minor understanding of salah is dua. Okay? وَصَلِّ عَلَيْهِمْ إِنَّ صَلَاتَكَ سَكَنٌ لَهُمْ. Make dua for them. Now, when I'm going to say, have you made your salah, you should not understand that have you made your dua. You should take the meaning to the major understanding, to the major meaning of that particular word. You do not leave the major meaning and go to the minor meaning. Clear? Okay. Now, when somebody is interpreting the zakah for the jewelry, when the Prophet ﷺ said, أَتُخْرِجِينَ زَكَاتَهُمَا, they said, the zakah here is for you to lend this jewelry to others. That's a minor meaning. Who gave you the right to leave the major meaning and to go to the minor meaning? And the Prophet ﷺ said, أتخرجين, the word by itself, it tells you that there is money has to be paid. أخرجت زكاتك? Have you paid your 2.5% on your money? So the word تخرجين is no doubt. You do not say تخرجين meaning that you made it, you lend the jewelry. That's not it. And then on top of it, he said zakah. So the zakah, there's a major meaning for the zakah. We all understand that if I have, when you have money, $10,000, أخرجت زكاتها, means that you have to pay 2.5% of it. You see? So that understanding is weak and very weak, and it's not acceptable by me and by the mashayikh that I have studied with. So that's number one. I go back and say, this is for the clarification in case somebody have, told you about this or somebody hit you with it. I did not give an opinion on the jewelry for the woman. I gave all what the scholar said. The scholar said 3 things. Number 1, I repeat, if the jewelry of a woman is a common jewelry, like every woman has, it has her ring, wedding ring, has a bracelet, has earrings, and has necklace and bracelet. And those she wears all the time. This is part of what the usage is like. You use your home, you use your furniture, you use your car, you use your clothes, you use your jewelry. They're not subject to zakah. That's one saying of the scholar. The second saying of the scholar, if the jewelry are above and beyond what everybody can have. Okay, your husband is rich, he loves you very much, he brought you a diamond ring worth $20,000, or brought you, this thick bracelet, or. This is not normal jewelry for all the women to have. Those, especially the hadith, أَتُخْرِجِينَ زَكَاتَهُمَا, for those thick bracelet, that will be applicable here. Okay? A third kind of the scholar, they said, Akhi, I'm not going to worry about nothing. All what I'm going to say is, if the jewelry balagat al-nisab, which is the nisab? The nisab is 83 or 85 gram of gold, then you have to make 2.5% on. Okay? If it reaches 483 gram of silver, then you have to make, on. Those are the 3 major opinion in terms of the jewelry for the woman, and you take whatever you want. Okay. Now, before we go any further, the zakah, I have mentioned this before. I need to redo it again because I have some people ask the question. Okay. It is not jewelry. Let's say I have money. The money I have is cash, silver, and gold. Okay? The gold I have is less than 85 gram, and the silver I have is less than 485 gram. And the money that I have is less than $1,000. So what you do, when we said wealth, that means collective wealth. That means you need to add this to this to this. All of those, they have reached an nisab. They have reached the limit, of the zakah. So then you have to pay on all of them combined 2.5%. Okay? So somebody said, I don't have enough of this, I don't have enough of this, I don't have enough of this, then I don't have zakah. No. You have to gather all of them. Yes?
Jewelry, even though not gold and silver, Not only gold and silver, it means diamond or anything else?
No. It means any wealth. We kept talking about wealth. How about platinum? Platinum is not gold or silver. It is included. Any money, okay, here's another scholar, the recent scholar, they said, money, the definition of money. What is the definition of money? He said the definition of money, any items you have, you can transfer it into money. I have painting. If I put it on the market right now, somebody will pay me for it $10,000. That's money. Even though it's painting, you know. Let's say I have carpet I don't use. Let's say some people have carpet, they keep, you know, carpet for you to put in the house and use. It is not subject for zakah. But let's say some people have collectible item. Okay, you have something that you can transfer into money, then this has to be subject to zakah. Okay, so anything you can sell, what is the market value for it right now, then that will be subject to zakah. I don't want people to confuse that I am saying that the used item for personal use is not subject to zakah. Make that clear. Personal item that it is for your own use, it is not subject to zakah. Clear? Okay.
So basically, it's any asset that I have for investment, not for daily usage.
Right.
For investment, whether it's a short term or long term.
Right.
This is accounting, regardless of what the asset
Yeah.
was.
But now we go back. What is the value of it? Is the market value.
Market value.
It is not how much I paid for it. You know,
Today's
it's not much how much is going to bring me in the future.
Today's market.
Present value. Now, sometimes, okay, I have this one here. It's worth $1,000. It doesn't matter how much I paid for it. But let's now that if I put it in the market to sell it, it's not going to bring me more than 600. It may worth 1,000. But now I'm offering it for sale. And nobody is offering me right now more than 600. If I do sell it for 600, what does it cost me to sell it? I have to ship it, I have to do this, I have that, I have to box it. So let's say that's going to cost me $100. Then the subject zakah on it is 500. 600 minus the 100, the expenses. Okay? Because this is how much actual money that I'm going to get into my hand. Okay? So the zakah is only on the money that you can hold in your hand right now. Okay? From anything. Yes, sir.
If I have 30,000 worth of property, like gold, whatever it is, okay? I calculate I have to pay for 750 of zakah, right? If I don't have that cash money, what I do?
I don't understand. What do you mean if you don't have?
Well,
You said you have, and then you said you don't have.
30,000 worth. It is worth 30,000.
Worth 30,000.
Assets, something assets.
Asset.
Okay.
No cash money.
Yeah. Now I have to pay for it $750 cash for it.
Cash.
I don't have the cash.
You don't have it. That's debt on you. The scholar said, this is debt on you. Okay? You have debt. And the debt, the scholar said two things. I have this asset worth $10,000. I have to pay on it $250 zakat. I don't have the $250. What do I do? If this item is divisible, okay, I can get out of it 2.5% and give it to the poor. Okay? If it is not divisible, okay, it's only one piece of gold. I cannot, cut it and give a piece out. Then I can pay out of my pocket. If I don't have it, okay, this will be debt on me. So I have this year debt for $250 for this one. Next year, another $250. It is debt on my neck. I have to pay it. But I'm trying to get out of this is sometimes the wealth is divisible. Okay? Somebody has stock in a company or share in a company. Those shares, they're worth $30,000, $40,000. Okay? But, and that's an actual question. Somebody has shares in a company, and he, over the years, accumulated so much share, and they became worth $100,000. He has to pay $2,500 on them. The question number one is, you have to pay zakah on whatever you can collect. So let's say I have shares for $100,000, but if I called the company and I said, I want them, they said, well, you have to lose certain amount because of maturity date, because of this, because of that. So whatever I can get my hand on, let's say so I can get 90,000, then the zakah is only subject on 90,000. Okay. The second question is, I don't have $2,500 to pay for this. Okay, this share is divisible. You can call the company and say, how much is the share? Let's say that you have 10,000 shares. Each share costs $10. So that's 100,000. Okay, I need 2,500, so I need to sell 250 shares. I called the company, I said, can I sell 250 shares? He said, yes. So, okay, sell 250 shares and pay it as zakah. So you're done. So rather than now having 10,000 shares, you have 9,750 shares. You can do that. So you pay zakah on the wealth if it is divisible. If it is not divisible, it is debt on you. Okay? Any question?
401k, the retirement fund.
Say it again.
The retirement fund 401k, which is not accessible to you until a certain age.
Okay, this is the second time I get about 401k.
So you have to answer.
What is 401k? Okay.
It's a retirement.
Okay.
Deduction
For-
out of your
for-
salary
for-
for your retirement.
For people who don't know 401k is, 401k is a company program or a government program, whatever you want to call it. Since you work for this company, the company will allow you to put toward your retirement a certain amount of money, and some company they match that amount. So if you put every month $100, then the company will match that figure up to a certain figure. You cannot put $10,000 or $5,000 and then the company. They have, according to the policy of the company. So you put $100, they put $100, they put $100, and so on. And as you have seniority in the company, then the number can go up. Okay, you work 10 years in the company. After 10 years, you have substantial amount of money in the company, $20,000, $30,000, $40,000. The rules for this 401k plan is that you cannot withdraw it before you can get to retirement. So 65, 63, whatever number you have to set. Some company you have to set, I want this money out when I am 65, or if I have disability, retirement, rules and regulation. Anyway, and those money that you put, the government, to encourage you, they said, we're not going to let you pay taxes on. So they are untaxable. So what happened is, if I want to come at age 50 and I want to withdraw this money, if you withdraw this money, then you have to pay late penalty, you have to pay fees, you have to pay the taxes that do on it, that you have, whatever that the company set up. Okay. Now this is the 401k plan that they're talking about. This is what it is. Now, the question for the Muslim is, do I have to pay zakah on it every year? Okay. When we talk about the zakah, what did we specify? Nisab limited amount of money, the limit of the wealth, and حال عليها الحول. Now those two conditions, are they applicable here? Yes. This is money, reach the limit, and the whole year is passed on it. Subject to zakah or not? Subject to zakah. So, but here is where the dispute is. He said, brother, you said that money I have to have in my hand. The zakah is only money that you must have in your hand. Okay? Now we're going to bring another example for that. So this money, I don't have it in my hand. So, okay, how much can you get in your hand? I have 401k plan. If I called the company, I said, I want to get all my money out today. How much do I get? Forget what's written on the paper. Maybe the paper said that I have 40,000, 50,000, whatever the number is. And then the company will say, well, if you want to draw it today, this penalty applicable here, this tax is applicable here, this gaza applicable here, you will get only $20,000. That money you can hold in your hand if you want. So then the zakah is subject on this amount of money only, regardless what's written on the paper. The paper said 40,000, 30,000, whatever the number is. But whatever the number they tell you that you can cash out, that is the number that is subject to zakah. Why? Because this is money. The poor has to eat. The poor in the community, in the society, has to eat. The Prophet ﷺ said, حَقُّ الْفَقِيرِ حَقُّ الْفَقِيرِ. This is obligatory. And don't believe, as a Muslim, that your money will be less. No. Because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala had a promise. خُذْ مِنْ أَمْوَالِهِمْ صَدَقَةً تُطَهِّرُهُمْ وَتُزَكِّيهِمْ بِهَا وَصَلِّ عَلَيْهِمْ إِنَّ صَلَاتَكَ سَكَنٌ لَهُمْ. Take money from them. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will multiply this money. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will bless this money. Okay? So that's the answer for that one. Anybody else? Speak loud or tell your brother and he will tell me.
Do I need to pay zakah for the ornaments my wife has?
Do you want to pay zakah on the jewelry that your wife has?
Yeah. I'm responsible.
Doc, we spent 10 minutes talking about it.
Yeah, I understand that.
He or she.
He or
Who
she.
can pay? He or she.
Is me responsible or my wife responsible?
Well, we're talking, there's no difference. Whether you or she, somebody has to pay the money. You can pay the money for your wife. You could be nice, and your wife can be very nice and soft talking.
That's different, but what is the ruling?
The zakah has to be paid, either by you, by her, I don't care.
No, I want to know the
Rules.
rules. It's okay, I can pay, but I want to know the rules. I am responsible or my wife is responsible.
That's her money, that's her jewelry,
I bought it for her and now it belongs to her.
that's her jewelry,
Yes.
she is responsible.
Okay, that's
She does not have the money, you can help,
yeah, that's different.
okay?
Poor husband, okay?
We have women in Islam, they are very rich. They're responsible for their money. Zainab, the wife of Abdullah bin Mas'ud, she used to be rich. As a matter of fact, one of in the seerah, that the wife of Abdullah bin Mas'ud, she used to be a merchant. Tajira, she buys and sells and she makes this and makes that. She has very good mind. Abdullah bin Mas'ud was not that way. So he was poor. So when she was about to pay her zakah, Abdullah bin Mas'ud said, give it to me. She said, no, I'm not going to give it to you. I have to go ask the Prophet. So she went and asked the Prophet, and I told you the hadith last time. She stood by the door and she told one of the guy, I think Anas, go ask the Prophet that. She found another lady, they having the same question. So when he came to the Prophet, he said, Ya Rasulullah, ladies are in the door they're asking about, can they give zakah to their husbands, and he said, who's there? And then the guy said, Zainab. He said, which Zainab? Ayu Zayanib? He said, the wife of Abdullah Mas'ud. The Prophet ﷺ said, tell her that it's sadaqah wasila. Tell her that, it will be, if she give it to her husband, it will be sadaqah and sila. Now the scholar, since we mentioned this, took this hadith as, here the Prophet ﷺ said sadaqah. So the scholar split. He said he did not tell her that yes, you can pay your zakah to your husband. He said sadaqah wasila. So as if the Prophet ﷺ was indicating that you can give your husband out of your sadaqat, not the zakah. Back to the rule that we mentioned earlier, the fiqhi rule that we mentioned earlier, we need to take the saying or the text according to the measure understanding of the wording. It is impossible that you come and you ask the Prophet ﷺ about one thing, he's going to answer you about different thing. You see? We came to ask you, Ya Rasulullah, about the zakah. The zakah. If I can give it to my husband or not. You're telling me that I pay my sadaqah. I'm not asking you about sadaqah. So this understanding is weak understanding. So it means, yes, the wife can give her zakah to her husband. Giving her zakah to her husband, that will be as if it will be considered zakah, and it will be considered silatu rahim. Because we always have to remember this qaida. Whenever we have a text, we have to interpret this text according to the major wording and understanding. We don't take the minor understanding unless لا يصرف عن اللفظ الأصلي إلا بقرينة. We cannot take this out of its meaning to the minor meaning unless that we have qarina, we have an indication, we have something to let us do that. Another question. Yes.
So I came late for the
لحد هلا ما سمعت شيء.
I'm sorry, I came late.
It's okay.
I'm afraid you maybe mentioned that already, but my question is, what is the amount of saving of cash that you have, what is the amount of saving of cash that you must start giving zakah on that?
The scholar said between $800 or $1,000.
So as soon as you get 1,000, you're going to have to start giving zakah on that money.
On that. If that's the only thing you have, you pay 2.5%, $25.
And then, and of course, every 1,000, you pay, for every 1,000 you have, you pay 0.2%?
2.5.
2.5?
Yes, $1,000, $25.
And let's say you have 4,000, you pay how much?
4,000, you have to pay $100. 2.5%, مظبوط? Yeah. 25 by 4 is...
The amount beyond the 800 or the 1,000 that you pay the 2.5%, correct?
No, the whole amount.
The whole amount.
The whole amount.
The whole
Whether
amount.
it's 1,000 or
You take the whole 4,000 and you take that percent out of that.
The 4,000 is all subject to zakah.
Okay.
Okay? تفضل أخي.
For a child, you have to pay zakat.
Say what?
For a child, you have to pay.
What did he say?
If you are a child, you have to pay zakat. If you are a child.
We answered. You asked the question last time. أخوه. ده رحتي عند الشفرية قاعد طلعتي عليها ولا تحكي انت وياها؟ تسأل سؤال خليكي معي. والله تفضلي.
My question. This is the first part. The second part is that amount of 4,000. It's an example. We say 4,000. It has to have a whole year saved as 4,000. Let's assume you are doing business with that amount of money, but somehow the process of getting the business started, it made like it went a whole year not spending that 4,000, but your intention is not to save it, to put it into business. Does this matter?
ما فهمت.
يعني سؤال احكي لك بالعربي معلش. هلا انا احكي بالعربي اسالك بالعربي معلش.
اسألي منين فهمت؟
نفرض انا عندي 5,000 سيف. I have 5,000 with the intention to take that money to put it into business or investment or شغله يعني من اللي حاططه مشان يوفرها. Okay? And then let's assume a whole year passed in the process of me starting that business, but I didn't use that money yet. هل بدفع عليه زكاة هالشيء؟ نفرض إن I want to buy a house for 100,000 for example, okay? And I'm looking for a house and I'm doing this and that, and the whole year passed in the process of looking for the house with my intention that that money goes to buying a house. Do I still have to pay zakat for that amount, even though the intention is not to save it? هذا مهم أفهم. هو إنه أنا ما بدي أوفره، هذا كاش حطيته بشكل.
طولي بالك. The money إذا بلغت النصاب وحال عليها الحول وجبت الزكاة.
Regardless of your intention.
وهذا شو؟
بغض النظر شو نيتك لهي.
خلص المال أي مال ذهب جولري مصاري كذا كله collectively بلغت النصاب وحال عليها الحول الهجري وجبت الزكاة. That's it. Now, if your money is up and down, we answered that question earlier. If the money is up and down, in Safar I have 6,000, in Jamada I have 4,000, and this and that, keep going up and down. I don't have how much. You put, the scholars said, it's an easy way. You put a date. Let's say the beginning of Ramadan. At the beginning of Ramadan, every Ramadan, you calculate how much money you have, you get on it 2.5%. We're done. Until next Ramadan. You calculate all the wealth that you have. And then you pay 2.5% on it. And this way, some people, it is very difficult for them to know how much they have. Because in this way, if you have money in Muharram, then that money on Muharram that you get, إذا بلغت النصاب, if it reached the limit specified by the Sharia, until next Muharram, that will be subject to zakat. And then the money you got in Safar and so on. But some people said, I do not have that good bookkeeping to know exactly how much money I get and much money. And then in this way, it is very difficult. That means every month I have to pay out zakat, which is difficult for me. So what I do is, the scholar said, specify a date in a year, the beginning of Ramadan, and that day I will calculate all the wealth that I have, and I spend on it 2.5%, and then I am done with it. Okay. تفضل أخي.
Let's say
before you, if you don't mind, brother. Yeah, the zakah is subject on any money that reached the limit of $1,000 and the person kept it for a whole year, regardless whether he's young or old or whatever. Okay? You understand? You're happy? Oh, no, I'm not happy. No, you're happy. Yeah, the zakah is subject on any money, regardless of the age. Yes, brother Tariq.
yes, let's say I have 2,000 in fixed deposit. And
Fixed what?
fixed deposit.
Fixed deposit.
$2,000.
Okay.
However, I have 1,000 in loan. Probably recent loan, maybe 5 months ago I took borrowed $1,000 from somebody. But I do have 2,000. So is there a plus minus we're looking at, or we're still paying zakah on that 2,000? That's
You collect all the wealth you have, regardless of its shape. Okay? You have $2,000 cash. I have $1,000. I lend it to Abu Ibrahim.
no. I have 2,000, but I also borrow. I I borrow.
Okay,
I
let me
think-
come to the borrowing. A lot of people, they said, Ya akhi, I have, let's make it large, then we could make it clear.
Yes.
Somebody says, Ya akhi, I have $50,000 in my account, in my checking account. But I have a house that the mortgage on my house is $85,000. So if I give those $50,000 toward the mortgage of the house, then I don't have any money. Do I still have to pay zakah on this $50,000? That's similar to what you're saying, right? Okay. The scholar said, if you have the money, I have it. حال عليها الحول وبلغت النصاب, the whole year passed on it, and it reached the limit, I have to pay zakah on it. You don't want to pay zakah on it? Pay your debt. Then you don't have the money. You see? But you cannot say, I have debt, I'm keeping the 50,000. No, you cannot. Okay? You have debt, pay it. Pay the money toward your debt, we're done. Then you don't have any money, you're not subject to zakah. But to keep the money, that's what the scholar said, you keep the money. If you kept the money, you have the debt. Somebody said, I don't want to pay my debt because, mortgage, some of the people, they get for 30 years, I have the money, I'm okay, and 30 years I'm paying $500 on my mortgage. It's stupid for me to take the $50,000 and give it toward the house. Well, if this is the case, the $50,000 would be subject to the condition. Money, حال عليها الحول, money you have for a whole year, بلغت النصاب, وجب بها الزكاة. Okay?
الأسئلة المكتوبة.
أخي لسه في أسئلة، لسه في واحدة.
بس عشان كده.
Yes, sister. افهمي منها السؤال. Yes.
I have two questions. First, can you pay your zakat toward the fundraising for the masjid? For example, for building the masjid.
First of all, what's the question?
Can she pay her zakat toward fundraising toward the masjid?
Building the masjid.
Building, construction, the masjid.
Okay. I don't want people to be mad at me, okay? But according to the scholar, if the fundraising for the masjid is applicable, if the funds for the masjid is applicable, it has to be at the end, okay? Because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, when He started, He said, إِنَّمَا الصَّدَقَاتُ لِلْفُقَرَاءِ. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knows what He's talking about. I cannot have people suffering in Gaza. They don't have money to eat. They don't have shelter. They don't have nothing. They don't have medicine. They don't have this. And I'm going to spend for the $3 million for the masjid. It is not right. I am not going to pay money for the school and there is somebody dying because he does not have money for medicine. Which one is more? Some of the scholars, they said, before you ask the question, apply it to your own life. I have my daughter sick and she requires so much money for her doctor, hospital, whatever. Am I going to go buy her a dress? Am I going to go buy her shoes? Am I going to go on trip? No. You have to take the essential parts first. So now, since there are people who they are in need of our zakah, more than the expansion of the masjid, we can pray anywhere. The masjid of the Prophet ﷺ, they used to pray on dirt and rocks, peoples, small rock, pebbles, okay? And the ceiling, the roof was made by those palm tree stuff, So this is the house of the Prophet ﷺ. So we don't have to have fancy one. That first question.
Yeah, now if you did that for the intention of zakat, let's say the last few years, you've been putting your zakat toward that. Now you're clarifying this. Do I have to go back and repay those?
Okay. Answer number one. Now, answer number one, I don't know. Answer number two, okay, some of the scholars said, يُعْذَرُ بِجَهْلِهِ. Since you did not know, may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala pardon you. Okay? Some other people, they said, and one of the riwayah of and Imam Ahmad radiallahu anhu said, he said the faqir did not get his right of your wealth. So if you can pay it, go ahead and pay it. It will be, inshallah, in your book. Done?
One more.
Okay.
Now,
for after the second one, we charge money.
No, this was a part B of the question. Second one, if you have jewelry that you have the intention to use.
If you have, one more, if you have jewelry and what?
The intention to use.
Not to save, like you want to use this jewelry, not for purpose of saving, but you haven't used it within the last year or the year before, okay? Now you don't know the value of this jewelry. Would it be okay, like let's say tomorrow, I go get the value of the jewelry, so can I pay the lump sum, 2.5% on the amount, and that would count for all the previous year, or no, I have to pay that for every year that I had that jewelry in my possession?
تفضل.
You have a jewelry. It's there for you to use it.
Jewelry does not take an article A. You have jewelry. Don't say, it is wrong to say I have a jewelry.
Okay, teacher. Then you have the intention of using it.
Using?
Using it on a daily basis, wearing it.
Okay.
But for my own use. But I have never used it for my own use, for whatever reason.
Okay.
Now, for the first year, I didn't use. The second year, I didn't use. The third year, I didn't use. Now the question is, do I have to pay zakat? And if I have to do it, do I have to go back for the past 3 years that I did not use?
Okay. First of all, this is jewelry that everybody has? Normal jewelry?
Yes, normal jewelry.
I mean, like,
Gold jewelry.
I understand, but normal, that means if we talk to your sister, she has the same. Talk to your aunt, she has the same. Talk to your neighbor, they have the same.
Yes.
In other words, did not reach the nisab. Did it reach the nisab?
What's that?
The nisab for jewelry is 85 gram. If we put them in a scale, do they reach 85 gram of gold?
Yes. Let's say yes.
I'm sure they will.
Yes.
Okay. I have mentioned in the beginning the three major opinions of the scholar. If it is jewelry for your own use, it's not for investment. If it is not, if my husband divorced me, then I have something to lean on until I find something else. Some women, whatever they can get their hand on, they buy gold. They said, in case I get divorced, this and that, then I have money saved around, Okay. If it is personal use, first understanding of the scholar said, if it is you use it, it's not for investment or any other period, it is not subject to zakat. Second opinion of the scholar said, if it is above and beyond what everybody has, you have diamond ring, you have platinum thing, you have this, عندهم طقم الآن هلا بيقولوا طقم worth $10,000, that's not normal jewelry. Then you have to pay zakat on it, according to the hadith of the Prophet ﷺ, biskatani min nar, because they were above and beyond everybody else. Third kind of opinion of the scholar, they said, if the jewelry have reached the nisab, 85 gram of gold is above and beyond anybody who can have. Usually people have, if you take the jewelry, bracelet, and necklace, put them in the scale, 45, 50 grams and stuff like that. So those scholars, they said, if it reached the nisab, 85 gram of gold or more, then they are subject to zakat. Now, do I have to pay zakah on the first year, second year, third year? The answer is yes. So let's say I am poor, I don't have it. There is an opinion in Madhab Imam Ahmad. Imam Ahmad radiallahu anhu said, he said, let's say if I have, maybe it's a little bit different than your question. So he said, if I have money, it's worth $1,000. But right now, I cannot get the value of it. Okay? This is for people who they invest in silver or in gold. So let's say I have a lot of amount of silver or gold. The ounce of silver is supposed to reach $30. It is not there yet. Okay? And whatever silver I have right now, if I sell it, I'm going to lose a lot of money. So I don't want to sell. So I want to keep the silver. But this silver, حال عليها الحول. And بلغت النصاب. It reached the limit. What do? I answered earlier, what is the market value of it right now? I have to pay. So let's say the market value of it right now is $5,000. Then I have to pay 2.5%. I have to pay $125 for it. Let's say I don't have the $125. The $125 will become, like he answered the question, it will become debt. If you have those jewelry for 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, then you have to pay zakah for the first year. But you pay zakah only on the value of it at that particular year. For example, the gold right now went up. So I'm not going to pay zakah for 3 years on the price of gold today. No. 3 years ago, what was the price of gold? How much was they worth? They're worth $5,000. Then I pay zakah on the $5,000 for the first year. Second year, they were $6,000. Then I owe zakah on $6,000. Today, they were $7,000. Then I pay zakah on the $7,000. And so on. Wallahu a'lam.
Can we answer the questions in front of you?
روح لهون إلا إيه على رأس شو صار فيه إلا بلاها
One last question.
إلا بلاها تفضل.
One last question for me. My closest relative who is living okay but are in debt, have debt, and they have difficulty managing.
Who has debt?
My close relative.
أخي, listen the word as much as you want. Somebody has. Go ahead.
Yes, they have debt, but they're in difficulty running their daily life. Are they? Can I give my zakat to them to help them?
Akhi, we are repeating myself now. The zakah is subject to the poor.
Okay.
To the poor and miskeen. The poor is the person who does not have enough to live on.
So would relative be part of it as well?
Relative, yeah, he asked me, relative are okay to
شو ها؟
relative أقرباء يعطي أقربائه الزكاة يعطي أقربائه الفقراء الزكاة هذا سؤال.
Is the question to give your relative?
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, say that. Say, I have relative. Can I give them zakah? Everybody asks me question, they go into a dilemma and they come to the question. Khalas. Can I give my relative zakah? Yes. What kind of relative? Relative is too kind. We mentioned that last time. You were not here. Your father, grandfather, and mother, those are not subject to zakah. Your son, daughters, granddaughters, grandson, they're not subject to zakah. A person going up or going down. This is what they call the main line. You, your father, your mother, your grandfather, your mother, all of this line is not subject to zakah. Now, let's go to the side. My brother, my sister, their children, and what have you. The brothers and sisters, if they're living with you, they are your responsibility. You do not give them out of your zakah. This is the famous opinion among the scholars. If they are away from you, they live apart on their own, they have their own life, your brother or your sister, then you can give them zakah. So is their children and your cousins and your uncle and. But the main line, mother and father, son and daughter, no, you cannot. If I was told by who, ما في حدا هون. If you give zakah to your brother, don't say it's a zakah money. Say it's a gift or something else. No. Some of the scholars say it has to pay. You have to tell him it is zakah, because if he is not subject to zakah, he needs to tell you. Somebody is going to come to me. My brother come to me. He said, "Here's $500. What's this? Zakah." Well, I'm not eligible for zakah. You got to tell me. Tell me a gift, I'll take it, even if I'm not eligible for zakah.
Last night at ICK, that question was raised, and the person answered, no, you cannot tell your brother it's a zakah. You have to say it's a gift. So, or if you say something, it become a lie. So,
if you know your brother is so poor and he does not have enough, adaban, politely, nicely, etiquettely, whatever you want to call it, don't say, here, I'm paying you zakah, because you're so poor and disgusted. No. You see? But if I don't know my brother, see, the question has to be clear. It's the way you present the question, the way you get an answer. Okay? If there are some similar circumstances and ramifications, I wouldn't know. So if your brother is so poor and you know him, you don't have to put him down and say, here, zakah, you're too poor. No. Give it to him. But if you don't know, tell him, this is zakah money. If you're subject for zakah, God bless you, take it. If you're not, give it back to me. There's somebody I need to know. Now, if I have 4 daughters, if I distributed to them the zakah, you mean, although they are students, not married yet. هذا هدول هيك خلاص. السلام عليكم. I have enough gold. I don't have actual require an not an actual weight. I estimated and paid zakah. Okay, but I have 4 daughters. If I distributed to them, although they are a student, not married yet, am I still responsible to pay zakah? Okay. First of all, you don't know an actual weight, then you estimated. The scholar require for you to know. I'm going to pray Zuhr. I have to pray 4 rak'ah. Akhi, let's make it 4, 5, 3. It's okay. No, it's not okay. You have to put your mind to it, and you have to know. Okay. And if you have 4 daughters, the wife, wallahu a'lam, the wife is not responsible for her children. The husband is responsible for the children. Okay. So if you have zakah and you want to give to your children, you could do that, provided, I keep repeating, provided that they are poor. They have to be poor. Poor. That means they have to fall within the channel of the zakah. Okay? They are students, not married. It doesn't matter. Am I still responsible to pay zakah? You're not responsible. But if you have zakah, you could give it to them. But you're not responsible. Clear? Alhamdulillah. If there is there zakah on set aside money for college fund purpose? Jazakallah khair wa iyyakum. Ya akhi, wallah al-azim, uqsum billah al-azim, zakah is subject on money that reached the limit and stayed there for a whole year. We keep repeating the same question. Zakah is subject on money reached the nisab reached the limit, وحال عليها الحول. Whether for you to buy a house, for you to get married, for you to go to Hajj, for you to get student, whatever. Money حال عليها الحول. بلغت النصاب صارت حق فيها الزكاة. الله خير إن شاء الله. Do I have to pay zakah on rental money that I received from rental property and invested to build another house? This is three questions together. First of all, money received from rental property, the money. And let's say I have rental property and I'm getting $50,000 a year from those rental property. The rental property itself, those houses, they're not subject to zakah. The money that I received from them, I received 50,000 and I'm living on those 50,000. At the end of the year, I am penniless. I don't have any money. So you don't have zakah. But let's say I get rental money, $50,000 from those houses, and I live on $15,000 and I save $35,000. Back again to the definition. Money reached the nisab, stayed there for a whole year, then it is subject to zakah. Those $35,000 that you have saved, it reached the nisab, stayed there for a whole year, then you have to pay zakah on it. Okay? Now, you take this money, you invest in another property. The scholar said here, you invest in another property. Is it rental property? If it is yet rental property, here, if I have those $35,000, I'm saving them from my rental income to buy another house to rent. Okay. If you can do that before al-hawl, before the year elapses, then you're okay, you don't have to pay zakah. But if the year elapses, you have to pay zakah. Remember the definition, which we're repeating 20 times so far. Money, حال عليها الحول, subject to zakah, if it reaches the nisab. I am saving Muharram, Safar, Rabi' Awwal, Rabi' Thani, Jamada Ula, Jamada Thani, from Muharram. Before the Muharram in Dhul Qa'dah, I found a house and I bought. We didn't get to Muharram, so I'm not subject to zakah. Wallahu a'lam. Can zakah goes to poor siblings, but their education fees? The siblings here, I'm going to interpret it to my sisters. Sibling means sisters, brothers. If I have zakah, can I pay those to my sisters? Take the word sibling out. Can I pay to my poor sisters? Yes. You can pay to your sisters. We answered that if they're not living with you. If you are living with you, you're not responsible for them because you are not the wife or the husband. You're talking about a woman here. If the woman pay her sister, she can pay her sister, whether they're living with her or not living with her. But the condition is that they have to be poor. They have to be eligible for zakah. This is too long. So we go. Money that is saved for children's, either from inheritance or by savings by the parents. Okay. Is zakah owed on it? Yes. Yes. The rule stands. Any money reach the limit for a whole year, it is subject to zakah. For whatever purpose. For young children, for older children, for this. The Prophet ﷺ, he ordered the trustee. There's children, they have inherit. The Prophet ﷺ said, if the mu'adhin made the adhan and you repeat after him what he said, and then at the end of it, you said, Allahumma salli ala Sayyidina wa Nabina Muhammad wa ala alihi wa sahbihi wa sallim. And then you said, Allahumma rabba hadi da'wati tamma wa salati al-qaima ati Muhammadan al-wasilata wal-fadila wa darja al-aliyya al-rafi'a wa ba'athu Allahumma maqama mahmud alladhi wa'atta. The Prophet ﷺ said, hallat lahu shafa'ati. That means he will be subject and granted my intercession, inshallah, on the judgment day. But let's say I was reading this paper and I did not repeat behind the imam, behind the muaddin. What do I do? A Sahabi came to the Prophet ﷺ and he said, Ya Rasulullah, I was talking to somebody when the adhan took place and I don't want to lose that privilege, I don't want to lose that gift, that to be guaranteed the intercession of you. So what do I do? The Prophet ﷺ said, you repeat the adhan. Okay? So if I was reading or somebody's talking to me and I don't want to interrupt him and the adhan was taking place, so after the adhan is done, you can repeat the adhan on your own. Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah, ashhadu an la ilaha illallah. Ashhadu anna Muhammad Rasulullah, ashhadu anna Muhammad Rasulullah. Hayya ala salah, hayya ala salah, hayya ala falah, hayya ala falah. Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, la ilaha illallah. You make salah, you make the dua as if that you have made it. Okay. Okay, here, money saved for children, is it subject to zakah? Yes, it is subject to zakah. The Prophet ﷺ told the trustee of the children, he said, invest their money. He's talking about those orphans' money. The Prophet ﷺ ordered the guy, the trustee, who is responsible for those children, he ordered him, he said, invest their money. Do not let the zakah eat it up. Because if you let them still, first year 2.5%, second year 2.5%, third year, after a while, the zakah will consume the money. So that will answer your question. The child who inherits money is subject to zakah, his money? Yes, any money. The rule stands, any money, reach the nisab, reach the limit, and the whole elapse for a whole year, then it is subject to zakah. Now, they said over here, and if the zakah was not paid, is there a calculation we need to pay it? It's a debt. You have to pay it. There is no special form. It has to be done. It has to be calculated. The money is there. I had $10,000 for those, for every year, yes. 2.5% for the first year, 2.5% for the second year, 2.5% for the third year, and so on. You have to pay. The zakah is haqqul faqir. It has to be paid. This another question here said, I have $1,000 last Ramadan. Okay, and I paid 2.5%. Okay, Jazakillah khair. Now I have $2,000. Okay, Jazakillah khair. What do I do? You pay 2.5%?
Of the 2,000.
At the 2,000, of course. Yani, this is new money. This is a new year. We still have poor needs to eat. I fed you last year, so enough.
But Sheikh, this 2,000 is not the whole year, right?
Huh?
It needs to be for a whole year 2,000 in the account.
والله حدا يترجم له إن شاء الله. I don't understand.
He said it has to be $2,000 for the cycle of 1 year.
Yes. Any money for the cycle of the whole year, you know, you have to pay zakah on it.
Right. But she has $1,000 this year. She pays the tax, zakah. Next year, less than the middle of the year, she ends up 2,000. So she did not complete the whole cycle year to pay the zakah. So she needs to pay for 2,000 or 1,000.
1,500.
لهلا ما عم بيقدر يدرك انه لازم يجمع المجموع كامل. انه عنده السنه الماضيه 1000 دفع عليها. السنه هاي اجى من نص السنه هاي اجى 1000 ثاني بدفع عليها هاي لسه ما صار السنه الثانيه هاي ال1000 لحالها ما صار سنه ثانيه بده يدفع عليها.
Brother, we said earlier, if you want to separate your money and you want to do your bookkeeping, you can do that. The money that only elapsed for a whole year, it is subject to zakah. In the middle of the year, if you have different amount, and if you have the bookkeeping right, when the money elapsed on the other year, on the other half, then you pay zakah on it by itself. But this is if you only have two payment. I have $1,000 stationed, and this year I have another 1,000 but came in the middle. Okay, the first 1,000 you pay when the year is over. The second 1,000 you pay zakah on it when the year is over. But this is easy case. But how about if a person every month having money in and out? That's why we said you combine them and then one day in a year, you make it your fiscal year, the first of Ramadan, and then you make zakah on all of your wealth. But there's nothing wrong, and I just answered that question. I said, if somebody want to do in the beginning of Ramadan, but in Shawwal, he had a substantial amount of money. He said, it is not due. Okay. You don't have to pay zakah on it until next Shawwal. Okay? You can do that. But if you can. But some people cannot have that bookkeeping. Okay?
Brother, sorry to interrupt you. Let's assume I owed zakat years ago. And I have fluctuating income and saving and gold. And I cannot calculate exactly.
يا أختي إن شاء الله شو السؤال؟
السؤال can I make an intention say, Ya Rab, I give sadaqah here and there, and I say, oh Allah, this sadaqah I'm giving today, my intention is a zakah. If I paid all my zakah, please consider it sadaqah. Can you make that kind of intention? I'm not able to calculate how much I have. Let's say I say, oh Ya Rab, I'm going to give sadaqah $100, but if I owe this as a zakah, please consider it as zakah. And if I don't, Allah, يعني بدير مع الله إنه أنا نيتي اللي بيطلعوا الصدقة إنه يا رب إذا علي زكاة احسب لي إياها زكاة، إذا ما علي زكاة احسب لي إياها صدقة، بصير هيك ولا ما بصير؟ بصير معنا كلنا يعني. شو الجواب؟
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. Some of the scholars, they said إنما الأعمال بالنيات. So you cannot. It has to be specified. Okay? It has to be calculated. How sure about it's not going to work. It doesn't work. Okay? والله رح أصلي أنا. You know, ما بعرف إذا كان أنا صليت الظهر ولا لا، بس إذا ما صليت الظهر اعتبرها فرض، وإن صليت الظهر هي سنة. هذا ما بيصير الحقيقة.
بس we do the sunnah
يا أخي.
to batch the farm.
خلاص ما بيصير. So I have to know. Because another thing is, the scholars said the zakah has to be going into those channels. Sadaqah could go into a wider channel. You see? So it has to be specified. Wallahu a'lam. Okay. We answered that question. Money that is for shares and 401k plan or Daman Ijtimai or whatever. Any money that you can put your hands on it that reached the nisab and elapsed for a whole year, it is subject to zakah, regardless of whether it is. Except, somebody asked me this, I have lent somebody money. Do I have to pay zakah on it? Yes, if that money is secure. I lent somebody $2,000 and he's not paying me. The due date comes and he doesn't pay. I asked him, said, Akhi, I don't have money. Okay, we postponed it another 5 months. Akhi, you owe me $2,000. Well, I'm sorry, brother, I don't have the money. So according to the scholar, this is unsecure money. The unsecured money, it is not subject to zakah. Even it's my money, it reached the limit and it elapsed for the whole year. Okay? But it is unsecure. I don't get my hand on it. So zakah has to be on the money that I can get my hand on it. And so this guy kept the money for 3-4 years. After that, his father died and he inherited money and he came to me. He said, brother, here's your $2,000. What do I do? Al-Imam Ahmad radiallahu anhu in al-book of Al-Mughni, they said, when he asked about this, he said, you do not pay zakah on it for the 4 years that he didn't give it to you, the money. You pay zakah on it only for 1 year. Wallahu a'lam. Okay? يخلص هدول. ما خلصوا ما في دعم تجيب لي هاي الخانة. Please explain the answer to rental property again. حلو. Any rental property, whether cars, houses, tools. Somebody has a shopping tool here in town, asked me the question. He said, I have tools, all kind of tools. The full shop is for tools. People come and they rent the tool, 24 hours or 3 days. I charge him that much money. Somebody told him that these tools are assets. You have to make inventory and find out how much they're worth, and then you have to pay 2.5% on it. This is a wrong verdict. Those are rental tools. They are assets, but they are subject for rentals. They're not for resale. So those are not subject for zakah. The only income, the income that you take from those rentals, if you spend it all, then you don't have zakah. But if I can save money out of this rental income, and this money have elapsed for a whole year, then I have to pay zakah on it. Okay? Clear? Rental property are not considered subject to zakah. Rental property, even though they are assets, even though they are worth millions of dollars, they're not. I have rental property, 10 property. I'm getting money from them and I'm saving money. Before the year elapses, I'm going and buying another property. They become 11 property. Then I'm getting more income. And then before the year elapsed, on the money that I saved, I went and I bought another property. So at the end, I have $10 million worth of property or $50 million of properties. They're not subject to zakah. But the scholars said here, there is a hadith of the Prophet ﷺ which is very scary, especially for those people who they have money. وَفِي الْمَالِ حَقٌّ غَيْرُ الزَّكَاةِ. The Prophet ﷺ hadith is authentic, reported by Muslim Imam Ahmad and others. وَفِي الْمَالِ حَقٌّ سِوَى الزَّكَاةِ أو غَيْرُ الزَّكَاةِ. So that means if you are wealthy and you said, well, I'm wealthy, I have rental property, I'm not subject to zakah, every money I get, I'm going to reinvest, I'm going to, do this, do that, so I don't have that. Okay, but according to this hadith, some of the scholars said, you're not out of the hook. You still have to be responsible. If there are poor people in your community, you will be questioned. If there are sick people, there are needy people, especially in your family, in your relative, in your tribe, in your people, in your city, then that means you have to pay. You have to help them. Even though you're not subject to zakah, but you are subject to sadaqah. So those wealthy people, we have to tell them, even though you're not subject for zakah, but you still be questioned. You have to help because you have wealth, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is giving you more and more wealth. So, addi shukr al-ni'mah, show your thanks to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala by helping others. Same question. Now we're done. Yes.
Can I ask a question about Zakat al-Fitr? Zakat al-Fitr. What is the timing for it? Can it be done anytime during the month of Ramadan, or it has to be exactly before Salat al-Eid?
Our fuqaha are two types. One group of the fuqaha, they call them an-Nassiyyin. They go by the text. You see? So they do not deviate from the text. Period. Zakat al-Fitr has to be before the Salah. Zakat al-Fitr has to be food. You cannot give it out as monetary or money or anything. Those are the scholars who are Nassiyyin. They go by the text. The Prophet ﷺ give them 2 sa' to give them 2 this, mud, whatever, sha'ir, arz, qamah, whatever. So whatever came in the hadith, they apply it 100%. Nassiyyin. The sadaqah has to be, when you're going to Salat al-Eid, you have to pay it to the poor. Why? Because the Prophet ﷺ said in the hadith that's clear, اكفوهم المسألة في هذا اليوم. Don't let them ask for food. The Prophet ﷺ wants everybody to be happy, wants everybody to eat, wants everybody to be full. You know? Okay. So those are the group of people, the scholar. Another group of scholar, they said, well, it is okay, this one, but sometimes it is not, we're not able to fulfill the order of the Prophet ﷺ. So we go, those are other group of people, they go, what they call it by is ruh al-sharia, maqasid al-sharia, the goal of the sharia, the aim of the sharia, what the sharia leads to, or what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wants us to do. Okay? And those people here, they give you a few examples. He said, okay, the Prophet ﷺ gave, sa' of sha'ir, which is about 3 kilograms, give and take. It's 2.85, 2.83 kilogram. So the scholar said 3, because nobody's going to go 2.8, whatever. So 3. So imagine right now, here in Kansas City, I'm going to go buy 3 kilogram of sha'ir and come and give it to the poor. He's going to give it back to me in my face. He's going to, nobody eats sha'ir, okay? Or could I give him wheat? Or could I give him this? It is not. So that's why the scholar, later on, they added one more item. It was not in the hadith of the Prophet. Even though those first group, they agreed with it. But it was not in the text. So they have deviated from their main target, being an-Nassiyin, according to the text. So then they added the sentence, they said, أو من طعام البلد أو من قوت أهل البلد. But the Prophet ﷺ didn't say that. Okay? But it was understood. If they eat date, they bring them date. Wheat, rice, but it has to be, still has to be food. Those other people, they said, okay, ya akhi, we are in this village, okay? We had so much zakat fitr. We collected so much zakat fitr from date, wheat, qamah, whatever you want to call it. And now all the poor of our village are full. Now we need to transfer this to another village. Transportation for this is going to cost more than the cost of this food. So it becomes difficult. And then beside, if I'm going to take this food before Salat al-Eid, by the time I reach the other village, it will have already been over. So we have to start a day before to do it. You see, all these problems become what they call it actual problems. So we have all those scholars, they said, well, maqasid al-sharia is to feed the people. Maqasid al-sharia is to make the poor happy. So, we cannot do it before the Eid prayer, because if we're going to go to another city or another country, we're not going to get there on time. So we have to start early. So those people, which we call them an-Nassiyin, they go by the text, they said, it's okay. Now we're going to do another provision, which is, you can do it on the 29th of Ramadan, a day before, or on the 28th, in order for you, if you want to transfer this goods to another village, then it reach there before Salatul Eid. Okay? So they add another stipulation. Now, let's say here in the United States, we're going to send to Gaza. Gaza right now, it is the biggest camp on earth. It is the biggest jail in earth. Millions of people, they are combined into this particular border. They cannot go out, they cannot do nothing. It's a big jail. They have so many poor people, so many needy people, so many orphans. We need to send it there. Well, 3 days is not enough. And I'm not going to transfer from here to Gaza 3 ton or 4 ton or 20 ton or 60 ton of wheat. I cannot. They're not going to let them in. So what are we going to do? And we don't have poor people here. Now, there got to be another provision. What is the other provision is that we need to send them money. We send them money, they can buy wheat, they can buy whatever they need. We can do that. What I'm trying to get to you is, try to understand the Sharia and a global issue. You know, if you want to go sometimes by the text, this is the best way, if we can apply it. But if we cannot apply it, you know, then we have to go with other scholars' opinion and understanding and their behavior. And Imam Abu Hanifa, rahimahullah, radiallahu anhu, is one of the one, he had tackled most of this issue, you know. So, according to this, back, I don't remember what was the question, but anyway, if you want to make it before the end of Ramadan, you can do according to those. If you want to do with money and wealth, you can do that. Al-ulama al-Nasiyyin, they don't agree. You see, they agree only on food. This is they're holding on to this understanding. It has to be food. It has to be giving. Because also they said another thing, he said, if I'm going to give them money, they go buy shoes. They go buy electric bill. They're not going to buy food. You know, if the poor guy, you give him the money instead of food, he's going to go pay the electric bill. So he's still hungry. He still did not eat. Or his children needs to do something, then he'd buy them. The Musharri', the Prophet ﷺ wants them to have food. So he said, they said that. They said all of this. But other scholars, they said, the poor, adra bihajatihi. He knows best what he needs. You see? Of course, he's not going to pay electric bill if his children are hungry and they are sitting with him. So give it to him. He knows what to do with it. Wallahu subhanahu wa ta'ala alam, but I showed you the 2 points.
The question is, I have money in investment, stock with the company, right? And if I take it, I pay penalty. So
I answered that question. Sister, I answered that question. I have 401k plan. I have investment in social security, whatever. And this money is only coming to me when I get to be 65. If I want to get it now, let's say, for example, they tell me on the book right now, I'm going to have $70,000 when I get to be 65. But if I cash it now, I'm going to get $30,000 because there are penalty and taxes and early withdrawal and so on. The zakah is subject on the money to get it now. Don't get it. But if you call them up, said, Akhi, if I want to pull my money out today, even though I have 75,000 right now on the books, how much do I get? He said, you get only 30,000 because the rest is going to go penalty and taxes and this and that. Khalas, keep them and then you have to pay zakah on 30,000. You see, whatever money you can hold on to it, you get to your hand right now.
But if I didn't know that until like this year, and this had been gone for like 10 years, so I had to pay the zakah for all these things.
Is the question is,
the reason I let somebody else repeat because I have to hear well in order for me to understand, to answer.
Yes. Basically, the question is.
Not really the question. I know there is a question. Every time you tell me there's a question.
ما كنت بتعرف لهلا قبل 10 سنين هلا حتى عرفت القصة منك هلا تذكر على 10 سنين. According to Imam Ahmad, you pay only for the last year if you do not have the fund, if you're not rich. So let's say that for the last 10 years, let's say I have in my account, I can get my hand 30,000, 2.5% for 10 years until now, I go broke. Okay? If you're rich, you pay. It's debt on you. If you're not rich, Imam Ahmad radiallahu anhu said, you pay for 1 year. Okay? But pray for 1 year, but doesn't mean that you're going to go sleep for another 10 years. Another 10 years, you pay 1 year. No. You have to pay every year.
I have a question. Okay. Now.
Do you have a question?
I do have a question, and you really made it. You said that zakah is a farm. The same way you cannot choose to pray 5 rak'ahs for dhuhr, you cannot make up your mind on zakah. But it's very complex when you have so many different assets. For example, you have a 401k, saving, and college fund, and all of this. So, am I guilty if I overestimate rather than underestimate? I know you say you have to be very specific. What do you pay?
Okay, there are rules in the Sharia.
Tell me about.
The major rule in the Sharia, one of them, not all of them. The major rule of the Sharia, فَاتَّقُوا اللَّهَ مَا اسْتَطَعْتُمْ. Do your best. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is Ghafoor Rahim. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is. But we don't want people to have shorable. You know, we don't want people to be so messy. They have to respect the Sharia. They have to respect the rules and regulations of the Sharia. They have to do it right. But this is the best I can do. Okay, then do it.
Do your best.
Now, a lot of people, they called me, they لما بتطلع فيني بترعبني انت. A lot of people, they said, brother, it looks like you're getting too linear. People did not pay zakat for 4, 5 years, 10 years. You're telling them to pay zakat for only for 1 year. Aren't you afraid of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? Inshallah, I'm afraid of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But anything, but everything I am telling you, it is not my opinion. It is the opinion of the scholars. They took that, let's say I am 45 years old. Let me tell you where we're coming from, the scholar, how they made that particular analogy. So let's say I am 45 years old. Never a day in my life I prayed. I never prayed. Okay? 45 years old, I met the brother who talked to me and convinced me that I have to pray and I have to be this, I have to be that. Now I'm start praying. I come to the sheikh and I said, Sheikh, I did not pray for 45 years. What do I do? The sheikh said, well, you have to pray for 45 days. He said, here, I'm going, I'm not going to pray no more. Khalas, madam 45 years, let's go. You see? No. So the sheikh will say, make repentance, repent to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to forgive you. Be good on your salawat from now on. Increase as much as you can from an-nawafil. This is the answer that the scholar said. There are scholars who said that you have to pray. But the majority of the scholars, they said, no, you have to do that. So the same thing is, a person never paid zakat, or did not pay zakat, didn't do. You tell them right now, you have to pay zakat for 20 years. I have a merchant who is a millionaire. He came and asked me the question. He said, I have never paid zakat, and my wealth is millions of dollars. What do I do now? He said, there's no way for me to calculate. Okay? So, can you pay? I said, well, I can pay few. Okay, I can pay as much as you can. Repent to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to forgive you. Try to scare him. It is your neck. It is not mine. It is your neck. You're getting hold by your zakat. So free your neck. If you have piety of Allah, pay as much as you want. Pay sadaqah, pay charity. The same rule the scholar had given to the guy who is not praying. Pray as much as you can from an-nawafil, hoping, repenting, make istighfar, and hoping that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will offset whatever you have left from those nawafil. Do your best. So the same thing we tell the person who has the money, did not pay zakat. Pay for this last year, and pay as much as you can from the sadaqat, and ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to forgive you.
If let's say you give money to a campaign of somebody who promises that they will championship the cause of the Muslims in the Middle East or Gaza.
والله لحد هلا ما فهمت شيء.
It's a fundraising for political campaign.
Fundraising for what?
Political election. Things like that.
دعم أحد السيناتورز اللي بيوعد إنه يدعمنا إحنا الفلسطينية أو الفقراء المسلمين. نقدر ندفع له 2.5% من الزكاة ماني.
طب قولي هيك.
Like the senator has the power to sign certain law or go against certain laws. So she promises that if you support my campaign, I would try to support the cause of Palestinians, or I would support the cause of poor Muslims in the Middle East. And you go with this intention that I'm going to support this senator because it's a bigger picture. Because feeding, yeah, but we want to protect their rights.
No.
So you support their campaign for that cause. Would that be considered as zakat? You
No.
say I would put...
No. You could pay it out of sadaqah, but not zakah. And that senator is كذاب.
Now, another question, brother. سؤال. الأخت اللي قاعدة هناك بتقول إنه عندها أيتام وأبوهم مات وعنده لايف انشورنس، واللايف انشورنس ما بتنعطى إلا بعد 18 سنة. تسأل عن الربا، ما عندنا الربا لأنهم بيزيدوا عليهم كل سنة، كيف تتعامل فيه وكيف تدفع زكاة هذه؟
عن مين بده يزيد الربا؟ وين بده يزيد الربا؟
طبعا هن لايف انشورنس،
ايه
تأمين. مش
طيب.
تأمين في هي بتقول أنا ما بعرف.
شو بتقول؟ ما
بتقول إنه في ربا وما في.
تعطيه يعني بيزيدوا له نسبة.
بيزيدوا لها النسبة.
طيب ايه.
فبتقول هذه معلش اتس اوكي النسبة هاي اللي بتنزاد. كل سنة مش بحطوا فلوس على
ما أخذوا المصاري لسه.
ما أخذوا.
لبعد 18 سنة.
لما ياخذوا
خلينا نقول
مصاري.
هو شاري تأمين $100,000. هدول $100,000 بعد 18 سنة رح يعطون انترست for 18 years. تمام؟ طيب. والله
عليهم زكاة ولا ما عليهم زكاة؟ هي سؤالها. عليهم زكاة ولا ما عليهم زكاة؟
لا ما عليهم زكاة.
ما عليهم زكاة. Sister, no زكاة on those money.
Because you do not get it. Zakah has to be on the money that you get in your hand right now. Right now you don't have the money.
Before you leave, السلام عليكم.
سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك لا إله إلا أنت نستغفرك ونتوب إليك ولا حول ولا قوة إلا بالله العلي العظيم. جزاكم الله خير.